Hello, greetings. My name is Muhammad Guntur Rizkyaditya. I am from University Lambung Mangkurat. Right now, I will lecture you about AWS impact on software development. Okay? Yeah. Okay, so we get started. So right now, have you ever wondered how companies like Netflix can stream movies to millions of people at once? Or how startup can launch global application at one night? The answer to many question is AWS or Amazon Web Service. So, what exactly it is? At its core, AWS is a massive secure cloud computing service platform. It began as a solution to Amazon's own complex infrastructure needs and has grown to over 200 services from data centers all over the world. Think of it as a powerful toolbox, as a super powerful toolbox. Okay, essentially, AWS has provided the fundamental building blocks for developer to build, deploy, manage application, and so on. But with one critical difference from traditional local development. So that is, you don't have to manage any application. You don't have to manage any physical hardware at all. To truly understand its impact, we need to rewind the clock to the world before AWS. In the traditional on-premise world, if you want to launch a new software application, the process was slow and incredibly expensive. First, you had a massive upfront cost, that is, buy your own physical server, storage array, and even networking gear. A huge capital expenditure before you even wrote a single line of code. Then came the waiting. After you wait for the deliveries, is the procurement cycle. It could take weeks or months to complete. And finally, after all that, you have guesswork of scaling. What's that? So you have to predict what your peak traffic is. So you can buy a hardware to handle it. And on the case when you don't have a lot of visitors on your application, the most of that expensive hardware will go idle, and it will go just waste burning electricity and money. It was inefficient, slow, and a massive barrier to innovation. AWS completely flipped that model on its head. It shifted infrastructure from a physical set to a programmable resource. This introduced a revolutionary concept, that is, infrastructure as code or IAC. Instead of manually setting up a server, developers can now define their entire infrastructure: server, database, network, everything in a simple text file. You can version control it, review it, and most importantly, deploy it in minutes. So, service like Amazon A2C, I mean AC2, let you launch a virtual server with a few clicks, and a tool like AWS CloudFormation let you automate the creation of an entire application. I mean entire application environment. What used to take months of planning and purchasing now takes a few minutes and a few lines of code. This newfound speed and agility changed everything. This speed directly led to the rise of DevOps. What is DevOps? DevOps is a culture that aims to break down the traditional silos between software development and IT operation. So AWS, AWS provided the perfect tool chains to make this happen. It enables something called CI/CD pipeline, which stands for continuous integration and continuous deployment. It's an automated workflow that takes a new code all the way to the production. Here's how it works. So, a developer commit code using AWS Code Commits. This automatically triggers the AWS Code Build, which compiles the code and run tests. If the test pass, AWS Code Deploy push the update to the left server, and the entire process is orchestrated by AWS Code Pipeline. This means developer can release a new feature faster, more frequently, and with far fewer errors. It's the engine of the modern software development. It is the engine of the modern software development. So, what happens when your application suddenly goes viral? In the old world, in the old world, your server will crash. The AWS world, you have elasticity, while scalability is about handling more load. Elasticity is more about automatically growing and shrinking your resource to meet demand in line. So there's two key that make this possible. The first is elastic load balancing. That one is act like a traffic cop, distributing incoming requests across your fleet of server so no single one is overwhelmed. Then auto scaling group. Uh, This one is act as a brain. They monitor your application traffic and automatically add more server when demand is too high. And just as importantly, remove them when the demand is low. So you get a highly available application that can handle any traffic spikes, and you only pay for the capacity you are actually using. This buy, I mean, this pay for what you use models leads to one of the most significant impact of AWS, the financial one. It fundamentally shifted the economy of technology from capital expenditure to operational expenditure. Instead of having a huge upfront in, in hardware, you have a predictable operational cost like a utility bill. This has a profound implication. It dramatically lowered the barrier to the entry. A startup can now access a same world-class infrastructure as a Fortune 500 company. It reduces a total of cost of ownership by eliminating the cost for a thing like a data center maintenance, power, and cooling. So, and most importantly, it fuels innovation. Teams can now experiment at a very low cost on an idea. If an idea fails, you can simply turn off the resource and stop paying it. This freedom to fail is critical for true invention. The flexibility of AWS doesn't change how we deploy software, it changes how we build it. It ushers a new architectural pattern. For decades, we built monoliths, large single application where everything was tightly coupled. They were difficult to update and scale. AWS helped popular help popularize microservice. This idea is to break down a large application into a collection of small application, into a collection of small independent service. Each service can be deployed, developed, and scaled independently by a small team. Services like ACS and AKS make it easy to run and manage the service using a container. But the evolution doesn't stop here. We now have a serverless computing with AWS Lambda leading the way with serverless. You can run code without thinking about server at all. Just upload your code and AWS handle everything required to run and scale it high with availability. It's the ultimate expression of focusing on code, not infrastructure. Today, data is the new oil, but it is useless if you can store it, process it, analyze it. Once again, AWS has democratized a field that used to be exclusive to a large corporation, big data, and machine learning. It started with services like Amazon S3, which provided a virtually infinite low-cost storage was known as a data lake. From there, you can use tools like Amazon Redshift to analyze petabytes in the data in seconds, or Amazon SageMaker to build, train, and deploy sophisticated machine learning model without needing a team of PhD. This means that today any developer can build intelligent applications that can perform tasks like image recognition, natural language processing, or complex forecasting, embedding AI directly into their product. So, when we look back, the impact of AWS on software development is undeniably it's not just it's not just incremental improvement. It is a fundamental revolution. It has given you unprecedented speed and agility. It has replaced massive upfront costs with a pay-as-you-go model. It has provided infinite scale and reliability on demand. It has enabled modern architecture like a microservice and serverless. And it has democratized powerful technologies like big data and AI. The revolution continues. The future is moving toward edge computing, bringing the cloud closer to where data is created, and even exploring the new frontier with quantum computing. The cloud has truly changed the world by changing how we build software. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumb up and consider subscribing for more content and technology information.